Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Corie. This is Crafted by Corie. I'm super excited today because we have a collaboration with Jackie from Blessed Beyond Measure, and I cannot wait to see what she has done today. So at any rate, let's go ahead and get right into the crafting. DIY number one. This is my inspiration. This is what we're going to be trying to dupe. I saw it at the Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be using a stencil that I created on my Silhouette Cameo. I had shown you some foam core board that I'm going to be using, some tissue paper that I have left over from a different project, and now I'm also using this Dollar Tree frame, which I have taken apart. I popped the glass out of it, and I thought I was going to just dry brush it at first and let it look kind of distressed, and I was not liking the way that looked. So I ended up giving it two really good coats of my Adirondack White chalk paint. And then I took the glass and I traced it on the foam core board and used my straight edge with my craft knife, and I'm just using it on my self-healing mat from ARTEZA, and cut that out so it was ready to go. Then I took my stencil. Now, you guys, if you have a printer available to you, just use like Word or another word processing software and just do yourself a favor and print this out. It would be so much easier than going through everything that I'm doing right now. But if you want to do stenciling, this is an option for you, but I promise you it would be a lot easier if you could just print it out. I, right now, do not have a functioning printer, at least for my personal use, because it is out of toner. So I did not have that option available. So I am doing the stenciling. And I was just coming in with a really light coat, and then I went over it a few times. I'm using the Elephant chalk paint. So once I had that completely covered, I went ahead and peeled away my stencil, and I had really nice crisp lines. I was really happy with it. I was afraid that the stencil vinyl was going to adhere so much to the card or foam core board that I wasn't going to be able to get it off, but I honestly had no problem removing it, as you just saw. It was perfect. So very, very happy there. And then went ahead and weeded it out. I'm using my fancy pin pen that my friend, the Purple Pixie, had given to me a while back. So thank you again, Crystal, because I use this all the time and I love it. So you just want to be real careful if you are using foam core board that you don't pierce it with your pin pen or whatever other tool you're using to weed this out. So just be real careful. So now I am going to set that aside and let it dry the rest of the way. And I'm taking my tissue paper, and I don't know if you noticed that little container of water that I have there. I'm taking my paintbrush, dipping it into the water, and I am tracing around my little images that I want to rip out here. It just gives you some control over where you're tearing your images. It makes it much easier. And the thought behind tearing versus cutting is that you will not see the edges as much as if you were to cut with scissors. Now, if I had this to do over again, I probably would have just created full strips of the tissue paper for the top and the bottom. I think it might have looked a little bit more cohesive when you look at it close up, although I also might have ended up with more wrinkles. Hard to say, but if you end up looking too close at my finished product, you can actually see that this is a lot of little pieces of image that have been applied to it rather than one cohesive piece. So hopefully people won't look too close. But ultimately, I really did love the way that this came out. So hopefully you will love it too. But once I have all of my pieces torn out, I'm just going to arrange them and make sure that I've got enough and make sure that I have them set up the way that is pleasing to my eye. Now, on the picture that we are looking to duplicate, as you could see, it only had like one image top and bottom, but because mine are so much smaller, I opted to put multiples. Now, you could certainly have just one or two. This is my preference, so it's not going to be an exact dupe, but I still think it is super pretty. And I'm coming in and just giving everything a really good coat of Mod Podge. With the first one, I thought I was going to be able to just go over top of it with the Mod Podge, and I learned very quickly that I really needed to Mod Podge underneath and then apply a coat over top as well. So that's the best way with the tissue paper to prevent having bubbles. So once I had all of my images in place and got them all sealed down, I did come back over and give the whole picture a really good coat of the Mod Podge just to seal everything in and make sure it was good to go. And if you are enjoying this project, I hope that you'll give me a big thumbs up and let me know that you like it. It really does help support my channel and it helps me to grow on YouTube. And I just want to thank everyone who's been leaving such sweet comments. I am way behind on responding to the comments. You all know that I normally try to respond to every single person who leaves me a comment. And so I apologize that I am so far behind. I've just been super busy with my day job. So it's been slowing me down quite a bit. So thank you so much for your patience with me. But here it is, and let me know what you think. So welcome back to all of my amazing subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are new, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I love doing all kinds of DIYs on a budget, always something fun here. And today's video is super exciting because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a collaboration with Jackie from Blessed Beyond Measure. If you don't already know Jackie, go and check out her channel. She is full of all kinds of fun farmhouse stuff, and I absolutely love her energy, and I know you will love her too. DIY number 2. So this is my picture for my dupe. I have to admit it's probably going to be more like an inspiration photo, but I'm trying, you guys. So I have these 4 wood square signs from the Dollar Tree. I have a bunch of the wire baskets also from the Dollar Tree, and I had those, I'm not even sure what you would call them. They're like hanging racks from the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm going to be piecing these together. I am using the large 5-gallon paint sticks. I left it in the plastic. It's a set of 3. I left it in the plastic when I went to cut it down. It just helped me to keep everything lined up and the same length and not sliding around. So before I frame it out, I'm flipping these over, and I decided I was going to use these large popsicle sticks or craft sticks. And I'm using my wood glue along with some hot glue for the long-term bond and the instant hold, right? So I am just pretty much, I want to say sealing, and that is not the right word because it is late at night again. But I'm securing all of these and providing some additional support, that is the word I was looking for when this is all put together. So now I'm just cutting down all of my pieces because my paint sticks were not long enough to frame out with just a single paint stick on each side. So I had measured and gotten the additional pieces that I needed, and then I'm coming through and I am just securing everything with my little craft clamps. These are Dollar Tree craft clamps. I think they came something like 8 to a package. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure I've got everything all lined up and square and where it needs to be before I come in and start gluing it all down. So that's what I did. And now I'm coming back with my Gorilla Wood glue and some hot glue again. And I'm just going to follow this process all the way around and just remove my clamps as I go. So once I have them secured, I don't need to really clamp it again. Although I think I ended up putting something heavy on part of it because it just didn't want to lay flat for me. So I'm going to do the same thing with the interior. I'm just going to be framing out almost like a picture, not a picture, almost like a window frame. So like a window, so that all of my lines are covered up and it looks nice and pretty. So I'm just measuring off where I need to cut this because I'm going to be using one of the other scraps because again my paint stick isn't long enough to go the distance there. So as you can see, I am piecing it together this way. I'm not sure why I decided to do an angle cut for this one. I guess I thought maybe it would be a little less noticeable from a seam perspective. I don't know that that's really the case, but that's what I ended up doing. Now I'm coming through and measuring off, and these will be straight cuts. As you can see, I've already done the top one, and now I was cutting the bottom one, gluing everything down just as I did before. So now I have my hooks, multi-hooks. I don't know what you want to call these, racks, but I'm trying to decide where I want to put them. And at first I thought I was going to adhere both of them to the middle, and then I thought, you know what, it would make a lot more sense for me to put it along the wood, because then my baskets are going to hang down and sort of be framed out by each of the little sections, if you will. So I'm coming in with nails because that's what I had at my disposal. They were too long, so I'm cutting off the tips on the back. So yeah, find a way or make a way, you guys. That's my motto. And then I'm just going to cover it up with hot glue so that it's not pointy and pokey and won't scratch whatever surface I have this up against, which happens to be my pantry door. So I am now coming in and just checking out how the baskets are going to go. I did end up bending up those little hooks a little bit more in a minute, but I also decided I was going to use these little Dollar Tree tags, for lack of a better term. So here you can see I'm coming in. I wanted to try to be real careful. I ended up using something around it to protect it so that I wasn't marking up all of the little hooks. But then I went out and spray painted it in the garage. I just spray painted it all white. I spray painted my baskets with a hammered silver, and this is the end result. Let me know what you think. DIY number 3. Here is my picture for this dupe. This, did you see that price? $103.99 on clearance with Pottery Barn. Oh my goodness. But I am loving these little vases. I think they might be from the Dollar Tree. And then I came in with my Rust-Oleum frosted glass spray paint. I think I saw Chemo from Chemo Craft using this, and this is my new favorite thing because seriously guys, it dries in 10 minutes or less, like fully dry. So I'm coming in with my tape, as you can see. Now as I was adjusting it here, I noticed that it pulled off some of my frosting. So that I wasn't happy about. I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling it's going to end up doing that everywhere. And so I pulled it off, and it certainly did. So I'm like, you know what? We're not going to do that because it pulled it off on the other one too, and I did not want to end up with these little shiny clear areas when my project was finished being painted. So I am instead coming in with a couple of rubber bands, and I'm going to have to go a little bit higher than I originally had planned with my paint, but that's okay. So I got my rubber bands as straight as I could around my containers, and then I'm coming in with my Adirondack white chalk paint. And now my Antique Wax by Waverly, I am coming in and going over that to create a faux wood look. So I'm hoping to get it pretty close to what that original picture looked like. And here they are. And now inside of them, I'm going to be using these Coup Power rechargeable votives. My friends with Coup Power sent these to me, and I am so excited for them. Now, I had already opened them up, so you're going to see underneath here the cord that's already there, but it's got this charging base and then the 4 votives. You just pop them right into the base, let them charge up, and then they work for hours and hours, you guys. I was really impressed. I haven't even run out of a charge yet, and you can see here they've got a timer for 4 hours as well. So you just hook them up to that little base, and when the red light turns green, you're good to go. And here they are all lit up. I love these. Let me know what you think. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Cute Carmen, look at this awesome little pickup truck and trailer. I love it. And very sweet Valerie. Valerie is catering a baby shower and she's been busy and I love it, Elizabeth. This is inspired by something I did a while back. An amazing Bobby. She's got 3 seasons done on her Mother Nature projects now. I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, just send me an email with your pictures at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. So this is my inspiration, $149 Pottery Barn, you guys. I love everything but the price tag. So I'm attempting this. So this glass Dollar Tree vase, I had been using it to prop up something else that I had spray painted a while back. So I'm just painting over it and then realized as I was doing it that it wasn't the right shape. So I grabbed this other vase out of my stash as well, also from the Dollar Tree. And I am covering it with Mineral by Waverly. So both of these got a really good coat of Waverly chalk paint. And then I thought my camera was running at first when I was starting to do this, so I'm kind of like showing you again what I'm using here. But I've got my Nantucket blue, my crystal, my provincial blue, and this is a pour paint medium that I have mixed it with. Per the instructions, it's a 50-50 split on this, so 1 part to 1 part. I had gotten this from Walmart a while back and I've been wanting to use it and I just have never had an opportunity, or I've not made the time, I should really say. But what I'm adding some water here because everything I had read, which isn't a ton, but I did do a little bit of research before I dove into this, said that the paint should be the consistency of warm honey or melted ice cream. I was getting more like pudding. I don't know if it's because I was using chalk paint, which by the way is an acrylic paint. And so it's, you know, this is supposed to be done with acrylic paint, but obviously chalk paint has some other stuff in it. It's not just a pure acrylic paint the way we would think of acrylic paint. So anyway, I added some water that helped a little bit. Other things I had read said that you could do that. And now I am layering it up in my other cup. I did the crystal first, then the provincial blue, and now my Nantucket. I had high hopes when I first started this project, and then they slowly went downhill. So it's so thick that I was thinking I really needed to try to get the sides of this before I let it just pour down. In hindsight, and actually after I started working with it for a little bit, I realized I probably did not need to do that. I probably could have just started at the top and let it just run its way down. So this was definitely a learning adventure. It is the first time I've ever attempted pour paint. So yeah, I did forget to put these up on top of something so that the paint would be able to pour all down. And this is where I realized, oh no, I needed to do that because it's all pooling around the bottom of my vases. So I'm like, oh boy, how am I going to pick this up? So I stuck my hand in there, got these little wooden blocks underneath, and now you can see my hand completely covered in paint. Oh yay. But at any rate, I was able to get those up. so that the paint could continue to drip. And I'm trying for the life of me to get more paint out of this cup because I've got some spots, as you can see, that I really would like to have covered a little bit more. Now, had I just been patient, especially with parts of it, you guys know I'm not all that patient, right? It probably would have solved itself anyway because it was thick enough that I couldn't see that it was still dripping down the sides because it was like slow-mo. Now, I had also read that you could use a hairdryer to help burst some of the little bubbles to create more cells and more interest. And so I'm using my heat gun here and thinking, oh, you know, two birds, one stone. So it was nice in that it was breaking up some of those little bubbles and creating new cells, but I was drying it too quickly, and then it ended up kind of wrinkling in places because the top surface was dry and underneath was still moving. So, word of the wise, be patient. But here they are all done. Personally, I am feeling like this is a fail, but let me know what you think. They are definitely interesting. I guess that's a word, but if those of you who have pour paint experience can give me some pointers and let me know where I went wrong most. I'm sure I went wrong in more than one place. But let me know your thoughts on these and how I might get them looking more like the actual dupe they were supposed to be. Here we are with the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the project. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up because it really does help support my channel. Please also remember to comment because that helps me to get recognized by YouTube. So I sincerely appreciate all of your support on that. And don't forget, go ahead and check out Jackie's video. I have a link to her video in my description box, and I know that you are going to absolutely love everything that she does. So until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.